Kakadosh Boker Tov, we're just continuing with halachot. Now that we're going to be doing the halachot of the arba minim. We're talking about the 4 different species that we take. We know that there's a mitzvah to take an etrog, lulav, one lulav, 3 adasim, and 2 aravot. You're not allowed to take more than 1 lulav and 1 etrog, even if you have the kavanah not to do the mitzvah lulav, right? Why? Because if not, then you have a problem about to which means you're not allowed to add on. However, though, by aravana das, you can add on to whatever you want. Right? That means you could have 5 adasim or 10 aravot, there's no problem. He does say that some people are going to say it's going to be pasul if you're going to put hadash shoteh with all the other ones. But he says some people also permit that. The medaktekim, we do exactly 3 and 2. And that's what the majority of us, Baruch Hashem, we do. We do 3 of the adasim and 2 of the aravot. Now the mitzvah of taking the lulav and etrog is going to be on every single Jew. What does that mean? On every single person. As it says, ulkachtem lachem, each person has to come and have the lulav and the etrog. When we're talking about the lulav, mitzvah min mukhar of the lulav is to take a lulav that all of them they come completely up, right? And not that they're completely separate, right? And not that they're like on the meaning. It's not like it's going to be like sometimes it's a palm tree that you have all the leaves like this coming separate. The opposite. Everything is going up in one unison, going up. So now he says, if it's going to be now that they started cracking or they were split, so now you're obviously going to have different problems. According to Maran, it all depends on the majority of them, or even if the middle one, according to the Gaon and others as well. So therefore you have a lot of different shitot, but the best is that especially for Sfaradim, that you're always going to take with a korah, which means that it's going from the bottom to the top. It's got the brown stuff on the back, right, which that actually makes it that it's one piece, and that it's going up, and that's the mehudar, right, that we have. Usually the luleve dedi that they sell over here, that's the way that they are. They're completely closed, it's green. The reason why it should be green is because if it's more yellowish, it could be that it's already dried up. But if it's green, right, then it goes straight up, and it's going to have the korah, which is the brown on the back, and therefore you know that nothing is actually split. Okay, the shiur of the lulav is minimum of 4 tfachim. So 32 centimeters is the minimum height of the lulav. Now he says the shidra is going to be besides the alim shebirosh shidra. So he says now the hadas and arava have to be 3. So that means it actually makes sense. You've got the hadas and arava, the minimum are 3 tfachim, which is 24 centimeters, and then you have minimum of 1 tefach above that the lulav has to protrude above the hadas and arava, minimum of 1 tefach, minimum of 8 centimeters. Okay, so he comes and he says, right, when he's continuing with the halachot. He says, Tov lechatchila, to do like the shitat machmirim, right, that we should actually come and make sure that the lulav is going to be minimum of 40 centimeters, right, but the ikar, because again, there's different shitot, exactly how much is a centimeter, right, there's the chazonish, there's the grachnai, so he says the best is to take the minimum of that. Now, we already mentioned the concept that it should be 1 tefach above. Now he says, even if it's going to be lulavim, which are growing, right? He says that they're not going to have any dates on the tree. It's still going to be kasher for bracha, and you're going to be tzedek chovah. I mean, you don't need a date tree, a date palm tree, that there's actually dates on the tree. Okay? Now he says, what you shouldn't do is you shouldn't put it in water for 24 hours, because if you're going to put the lulav and the hadas and the rava in water for 24 hours, it's considered already kavush, it's pickled. But b'diavad, it's still going to be kosher. Obviously, we're not going to get into what's dry or not dry, right? We already mentioned the concept of that if it's split on the top, so therefore hopefully V'ezrat Hashem it should not be split. When we're talking about now the hadas, the anaf etzavot has to be mishulash. Mishulash means that you have 3 leaves on each side, and it's going to be going around, right, the entire time. So he says shosha alim bechol ken veken. Then he says yoter bigol echad. So that's going to be now. How long does it have to be? We already said it's going to be 3 tfachim. Mitzvah min hamuchar is that the entire thing, he says kol shiur echadas should be mishulash. Right, that means the entire thing should be mishulash from the top to the bottom, right? But liikuva, it's only the majority. Meaning, as long as the majority is going to be mishulash, that there are 3 in the same level. As long as the majority is going to be that way, it's going to be kosher. But the mehudar is going to go all the way up. That's why you see when you're going to buy hadasim, some of them it says kasher libracha, and some of them it says mehudar. Why does it do that? Because one of them kasher libracha, it's kosher. Why? The majority are going to be mishulash. Mishulash means by 3. So you're going to come and you're going to see 3 different leaves on the same level, the majority. That's kosher for beracha. If you want mehudar, so therefore it's going to be that the entire thing is going to be like that. And then also there's going to be also the shita, the chazonish, which means that you have the chazonish shiur, which is a higher shiur of centimeters, that it's going to, but it has to be the entire thing, mishulash. It has to be from the bottom until the top, mishulash. Okay, when we're talking about now the arava. The Rava is arve nachal, right? So he comes and he says it looks like the eyes. We were going to speak about that on Sukkot, right? So he comes and he says here that when we're talking about the arve nachal, we're going to take two of them. So now if it's going to be dry, so therefore it's going to be a problem if it's going to be dry, right? He says that if there's going to be the shiud, it's going to be the exact same shiud as the hadas. And the last one is going to be the etrog. Lina, that we'll try to speak about the etrog tomorrow. But again, just the main concept is you have to be very, very careful, right? That by etrog, it should not be missing anything, right? That the piton should not be broken off, that it shouldn't be missing anything, that nothing's cracked or anything like that. But then obviously there's going to be a lot of hidurim, right? Which is basically the beautifying of the etrog. The Bab Ezrat Hashem that will continue.